I think when it comes to court cards, finding a deck that really sings to you and brings the cards alive is important. Now, you know I love my Rider-Waite deck, but when it comes to court cards, I do believe that the Druidcraft deck, which I pre-ordered in the 90s, is the most beautiful of all the court cards. I think it's as if the character of the card has been captured perfectly and every detail is sublime. The wistfulness in the King of Cups, the free spirit in the Princess of Wands, the potential danger in the Princess of Swords, the way she's got her ribbon wrapped around the blade, the way she's holding the blade but not the hilt. She could cause damage with that. Will it be to her? Will it be to you? Who knows? The complete dreaminess, that potential danger, as we see in the snake here, of the Queen of Cups. You probably know I struggle with the Queen of Cups. I struggle to remain grounded myself. And notice she's not even sitting on her throne. It's as if she could just slip right into that water. There is a danger to every court card, but I do feel with the Queen of Cups that's been highlighted here by the way she's sort of slipping into the water, the way she's left her throne behind, and the snake. I mean, I wouldn't mess with this woman. The Princess of Swords may be holding her dagger by the blade, but there's a feeling that she's not quite sure what she's going to do with it. Whereas when I look at the Queen of Swords, I think, yeah, she's holding her dagger by the blade, but by God, she's not going to hurt herself with this. She's going to hurt you. To me, that is a real power card. The confidence seems to just exude out of the Queen of Wands, whereas the Queen of Pentacles has that much more softer, sort of lost in what she's doing feel. I can't even put it into words, to be honest. It's so beautiful. So have a browse of the decks, find the cards. Some decks, of course, have the court cards represented as animals. I don't find this works for me, but if you're more of an animal person, that might be a great way to access the court cards. And then the first thing to start to think about is, when do you act like these court cards, and who in your life would you identify as these court cards? And certainly when my kids were younger, I was definitely very much in the Queen of Pentacles. I was, the mum that always had the hummus and the carrot sticks. I made my own Play-Doh, all that kind of stuff, and I loved it. I loved being the Queen of Pentacles. Now my kids are older, I find that they need me more to be the King of Swords, which is to listen to what they're saying and try to give objective advice rather than try to fix the problems or do it for them. And it's quite a shift, and it's hard, if I'm honest. It's hard. The Knight of Pentacles, the way he's almost hiding behind the big shield, I need to be more like the Knight of Pentacles. I'm not very good with details. The other thing you can do, and I'll share more of these in a minute, is start to think of cultural references that would really sit for you with each card. Now these could be historical characters, fictional characters, songs, books. For me, I always think of the Page of Pentacles as Samwise Gamgee from The Lord of the Rings. We are going to a Comic-Con this year where the actor is going to be, and I'm very tempted, probably will, to grab myself a Knight of Pentacles card and get him to sign it, because Samwise Gamgee to me is the Knight of Pentacles. I often talk about the King of Pentacles as being very much like Christmas, because the King of Pentacles is somebody who enjoys life and is fully present in the moment. And what is different between Christmas Day and any other day? Nothing. It's your attitude that brings the magic. And here we can see this could be a Christmas card. It is so Christmassy. Again, the Knight of Cups or the Prince of Cups from the Druidcraft deck really influenced how I read the Knight of Cups. I see quite a dark side to the Knight of Cups. Anything that's quite as shiny and beautiful as the Knight of Cups is in the Rider-Waite deck, must have a darker side. And I think in this card it's really represented by the water. That looks like it could have a tentacle just coming out at any moment. Looks like a scene from a horror movie. Just the water, not Knight. And, you know, with the King of Wands, if we come back to the Queen of Wands, there we go. Notice how with the Queen of Wands, her head is perfectly framed with her throne. She owns that throne. Whereas with this king, yeah, he's sitting on the throne. Yeah, he's confident. But he's slightly to one side, and the way he's sat and the way he's holding the wand, I can imagine him just getting up and walking off the minute he's bored in one smooth movement. So, you know, do have a look at different decks. One of the funnest, is that a word? One of the most fun exercises I did when I was creating my book was to think of a different cultural reference for each of the court cards. Some of them I can remember, some of them were really easy, some of them were really hard. I listed, interestingly enough, I listed Page of Pentacles as Harry Potter or Willow from Buffy. And what matters here is not that you are right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong, but that you have a reason. I suggested think of those youthful characters who were fascinated by what they were studying at the time and used it. I'm not sure, Hermione from Harry Potter or Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and used it to change the narrative of their story. For the Knight of Pentacles, Dr. John Watson from the Sherlock Holmes story, or of course Sam. You've got to think, I think with the Knight of Pentacles, people who are loyal, committed. And I've said here, lost my, here we go. He could just as easily be the best friend a man ever wanted. Loyal, reliable, ever ready, Dr. John Watson. So have a think about your cultural references. King of Pentacles, it could be Del Boy from the Only Fools and Horses, or Jordan Belfort from the stockbroker portrayed in The Wolf of Wall Street. Both in different ways were defined by their desire to make a lot of money and to have the lifestyle that would come from a lot of money. So be playful. Have a think. What would your cultural references be? When it came to the Knight of Cups, who is a romantic partner, a very romantic card, there was only one character that I wanted for that card. Some of the cards I found quite difficult, some of the cards I found very easy. After my book was published, I was really excited that there was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer tarot deck came out, and there we have, okay, it's Spike before he was made a vampire, but yeah, they also had him as the Knight of Cups, so I loved that. I don't normally go for novelty decks, but I'm such a big Buffy fan, I really had to go for the Buffy deck. I also had Giles as the King of Cups, because although Giles is wise and intelligent, I think his caring is his strongest personality type. So I urge you to come down into the Place of Pentacles, play around with different decks. Even if you don't have different decks, you can find their images on YouTube or, you know, different websites, and then think to yourself, when am I like that? Who in my life is like that? And then find cultural references for each card. For me, the Knight of Wands is Doctor Who, just jumping on in Geronimo Allons-y, and trusting that he will work out the problems later. I'm pretty sure that I put Dana Scully as the Queen of Swords. Very logical, very intelligent, but also very self-assertive. And don't think about right or wrong, think about why. What are my reasonings? the more that we personalize these cards, the more that we add emotion to them, as if they are the characters in the tarot deck. So build those emotions, build that character, and have fun and enjoy it. If you have any particular fictional references for each of the cards or historical references, pop them in the comments, have a share. And of course you can find all of mine in my book. So do share your cultural references. It would be really interesting to see what they are. And remember, we'll all have different ones, and that is absolutely fine. What matters is your why.